So this video is for the unit operations, and we're going to be looking at quality, but we're going to look at a very specific quality process, and that process is known as quality assurance. Now within this video we're going to look at a very specific company, a company that uses quality assurance in their quality processes, and that is Toyota. So the video is going to look at the benefits and the drawbacks of quality assurance for a company such as Toyota in the car industry. So before I tell you a definition of quality assurance, I want to show you a case study on Toyota. And I think the case study really highlights how quality assurance works and what is involved in making sure that quality assurance is so effective. So what we've got is we've got an employee called Laura Wiltshire. She's working on the assembly line at one of Toyota's giant plants, and she notices that there's something wrong with the seatbelt fitting on the production line. So therefore, she pulls the cord. Now, by pulling the cord, it stops the production line, so everything comes to a halt. And then what happens is her 5 fellow workers join her in trying to identify the problem with the seatbelt fitting. And once they've identified it, they can obviously solve it and fix it to allow the production line to continue. And what that does is not only identifies any issues with quality, but it also prevents it. So they soon see why it's not screwed in properly and they fix the problem. And Laura says, I don't like to let something like that go. It's really important for people who buy our cars. So pulling the cord is just one aspect of Toyota's quality assurance. But what we can see from that case study is, first of all, the employees are heavily involved in this quality process. So it's not for example, supervisors or quality inspectors. Everybody is involved. And it's not at the end of the production line, it's throughout. So at every single stage of the production line, they will be checking on the quality. And what that should do is it should make sure that at the end of the production line, there are no faulty vehicles. So what is quality assurance? Quality assurance is a quality process that ensures production quality meets the requirements of the customers. You could argue, well, that's any type of quality process, but this approach aims to achieve equality by organising every process to get the product right first time, and therefore it prevents mistakes ever happening. So in quality assurance, there is more emphasis on self-checking rather than checking by inspectors, and everybody is empowered to check on the quality and also come up with ways of improving quality. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you some videos of how it is used in Toyota.
The Toyota production system is the foundation of what Toyota do. Every single member here has the right to stop the line. If he sees something that's not quite right, we have what we call the hand-on system. He has the right to stop that line. Everybody's involved in it. It's not just top-down. We encourage, as we call it, bottom-up. So if a team member comes to me and says, I have an idea for this, you don't ignore him, because nobody has a better idea than that member. The biggest asset we've got is the guys that work it. And it's not because you cut them open and the locks stick a rot and they've got Toyota through it. That's not it. It's just the amount of faith and pride that the people have got. And they will do what they can to help this company because they know it's helping them at the end of the day.
The other part of the Toyota production system is to make sure that everybody on the process understands what quality they're expected to achieve. If they can't achieve that quality, they have the opportunity to stop the line through the hand-on and pull the cord that's running next to the production line and make sure that it's alerted to their supervisor if they have any potential problem.
They need to confirm that that car is safe to drive. They'll then take it into headlamps and they'll set the headlamps. They've done all that with us within the 4 minutes. The function line is a very safety-orientated line. We'll probably do around 150 to 160 checks in there. That car will not leave the factory unless it's passed all 2,000 checks that are done. For us to send a good quality vehicle out, it's very important that the members are comfortable and confident that they can do what they've been asked to do. They're the ones who are saying, yep, I can do this. If they have equipment concern, then obviously I will go and support them to try and get that equipment back up and running. So it is a very member-related process. It's a safety area. That is what my area is about. I'm just proud to think that, we've done all the checks we can do. You've got your kids in the back, but I'm happy to say that we've checked that. And you're going to get home safe.
When we're considering the benefits of quality assurance, it's worth remembering that not only does it identify, but it also prevents problems with quality. And again, what I mean by that is because it is checking quality throughout the process, it can avoid any finished products having faults. Now, if we think about a different type of quality process, so let's imagine a company hires a quality inspector to check at the end of the production line. Well, if there's faults and they haven't been identified earlier, then that means that finished goods, that vehicle, is not fit for purpose and it's not safe enough to be distributed. So the likelihood is it might go to waste and be added to the scrap rate. Well, quality assurance avoids that because they are constantly checking throughout the whole production process. They can not only identify problems there and then, but they can identify potential problems and they can resolve it or prevent it so it never takes place. Now, because it does that, and because it assures quality in this specific way, it also helps to reduce costs. Now, again, when we're considering about any issues with any vehicles, and I'm not talking about when they've been distributed to the car dealerships and therefore have to be recalled. I'm talking about these cars that are ready to be distributed. If they notice any issues, any defects, then again, that's going to cause a higher scrap rate and it's going to cause waste. And that is a waste of materials and it's going to obviously increase your total costs. But quality assurance, because it identifies, because it prevents, it reduces those unnecessary costs. Now, another really key benefit is the impact it has on employees. It can be really motivational to employees because it gives them extra responsibility. It empowers them to check the quality. So, obviously, if you're working on a specific stage of the production, by having that ownership of that stage, it just makes you feel more valued. And because it makes you feel more valued, it should motivate you and make you much more productive, but also ensure that quality is at its highest level. There are some issues though, and there are some potential drawbacks of quality assurance. To begin with, when we're considering quality assurance, if the company has never used quality assurance before, then it's going to be a change in the company culture and the operational culture. And that is going to lead to a cost and time of implementing the process. So what I mean by that is, first of all the employees will require training because they've never had that responsibility before, but now they do. So they will now have the responsibility to check the quality, and that again, the cost of that training, it could be substantial in the short term. And also, because training's taking place, it's going to mean in that time frame, maybe the company is not as productive as they previously were because the training whilst they're actually producing. Another factor is, well, what happens if the employees don't want that responsibility? That increased responsibility might not be welcomed by all staff. Some workers might believe that it's not in their pay grade and it's not in their job description to have that responsibility. And if they're not going to get, for example, a pay rise, or they're not going to get the recognition of maybe a different job title, then they may not want that responsibility. And actually what it might do is it might demotivate the worker.